Welcome to Shift Happens, Embrace the Change. I'm Ashley, and this is a space for people who are insightful, capable, and exhausted from holding it all together. Here we talk about emotional regulation, identity repair, and what it really looks like to heal and grow after survival mode without hustling, fixing, or forcing yourself into something new. If you've ever wondered why growth feels harder than it should, or why you feel stuck even though you're self aware, you're in the right place. Let's take a breath together and get into today's episode. Before we go any further, I want to invite you to slow this moment down. You don't need to take notes. You don't need to figure anything out. You don't need to decide how to apply this yet. Just notice your body as you are listening. Notice if anything tightens or softens as we talk. That awareness alone is already part of the work. At some point in your life, you learned how to survive. I know I did. Maybe you became hyper independent. Maybe you became the strong one. Maybe you became the caretaker or the achiever or the peacekeeper, or maybe the one who didn't need much, or a combination of them. Those skills helped you get through something real. But here's the part we don't talk about enough. When survival lasts long enough, those skills, they don't just stay tools. They start to feel like who you are. And eventually, the very traits that protected you begin to limit you. Survival skills are not character flaws, but they're not your identity either. Survival mode teaches your nervous system very specific rules. Stay alert, stay useful, stay in control, don't need too much, and don't slow down. Over time, those rules shape behavior. Then our behavior shapes our identity. You stop asking, what do I need? And start living from what keeps me safe. And guess what, folks? That's not a mindset issue. That's a nervous system adaptation. Okay, let's get personal for a minute. For a long time, I thought the way I operated was just my personality, that type A personality that you hear people talk about. I told myself I was naturally driven and naturally responsible and naturally strong and naturally the caretaker, right? But when I slowed down enough to really look at it, I realized a lot of those traits were learned under pressure. They weren't who I was, they were how I coped. And when I began to heal, something unexpected happened. Those survival traits, they didn't disappear, but they started to feel heavier. Things that once felt automatic started to feel exhausting. Not because I was failing, but because my system was ready for something different. My system was tired. And when we don't understand this, it's confusing. That can be very confusing and honestly, a little scary. This is something that I want to say clearly, so please hear me. When survival skills start to loosen, it can feel like you're losing yourself. You might think, why is this harder now? Why do I feel more emotional? Why can't I do what I used to do? That doesn't mean that the healing you're doing is going wrong. It means that your nervous system is no longer running on pure adrenaline and protection. There's often a season where the old identity doesn't fit and the new one hasn't fully formed yet. And that can be a very confusing place. That in between space can be very uncomfortable, but it is safe. I want to leave you with a gentle question this week. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" try asking, "What did this part of me learn to do to survive?" See if you can meet that answer with respect instead of judgment. You don't need to rush the next version of yourself. Safety comes first. If this episode resonates and you're noticing that survival patterns are showing up in your relationships, your work, or your sense of self, I want you to know you don't have to navigate that alone. I support this kind of identity repair work through one-on-one coaching, and I also offer workshops that explore nervous system regulation and post-survival growth in a gentle and grounded way. Those options and more are available in the show notes. And if today's episode simply gave you language, clarity, or permission to slow down, that matters too. Thank you for being here, and I'll meet you next time.